Hello, everyone. It's time for a mystery commentary. I'm Captain Logan. Right next to me is Brandon Grimm.
Hello again.
And my producer and wonderful co-host on the show, DJ Martinez. Hello, DJ.
Hello. How's it going?
Once again, we have revealed already the mystery with the background and also probably the thumbnail. A lot of people in the comments there live had already figured it out because that's a pretty distinctive classic outline, DJ. That is Buzz Lightyear of Star Command. We are watching Toy Story this evening. This was an idea I came up with because DJ has been watching through all of the Pixar movies, and DJ and I have weird overlaps. There are inevitably going to be things that each of us are going to want to do on this show that the other one is going to have to actually do homework for, because I've got a lot of superhero movies and stuff that I want to do that DJ doesn't necessarily know, and I'm sure he's got stuff that he'll want to do that I don't know. So at the moment, I'm still looking for some overlap with stuff that we can just kind of sit down, laid back, and talk about without having watched in a long time. So the original Toy Story, I've probably not actually sat down and sat through in its entirety in 3 or 4 years. My kids watch it all the time. I just heard myself.
Sorry, pulling up the chat so I can get some comments.
DJ just watched it.
I did. I just watched it last week.
I haven't seen this in maybe 20 years, honestly.
Has it been that long?
Or longer, yeah.
So Brandon's probably not going to talk a lot. He's probably just going to sit down and watch this movie.
No, I'll definitely talk about it. I love all of the Toy Story movies. I absolutely love them. They are such just good-natured and good entertainment, and I got with them real early. I saw the first one in theater. Hard to believe it's been that long.
Review the movie before we start watching the movie, Brandon. Okay, so if you are watching live right now, we are going to handle this like a kind of a mania commentary, a real laid back, whatever comes to mind, chatting with you guys. Kind of discussion. This is going to be kind of our extra Captain Logan show for the week. So we're going to continue doing Captain Logan show on Thursdays. Tuesday, originally our plan was to do a second Captain Logan show, but we did this last week with Lost, and people seem to really like it. So we thought we would try this format. If you want us, so this is still going to be somewhat of a Q&A show. If you want to talk to us about anything else, even not related to the movie, like we usually do on the Captain Logan show, feel free to leave the super chat. We will do those that way. And as always, if you want to make absolutely certain that your question or comment gets talked about on the show, super chat's the way to do it, and that helps us keep things chugging along here on the channel, and is a good deal of how we make the thing happen now. But don't feel like you have to do that, of course. We're probably not going to do very much pre-written, though, that's not related. So if you don't want to do super chats and you want to mention something about the movie, that's more likely to get read. So just wanted to tell everybody about that before we get started. That's the format for now. We'll see how well that goes and if people end up liking that or not. But that's the plan at the moment. So we wanted to make this kind of a hybrid show. It is sort of the Captain Logan show, although we're not putting that in the title. And it is also a commentary. So we're going to be sort of doing the Captain Logan show while we're watching a movie is basically the idea. And we'll see how well that goes, DJ. You guys ready? We're going to go ahead and kind of just jump right into it. So Toy Story is the movie, and hopefully everybody's had enough time to pull that up. It is, of course, on Disney Plus these days, so you can watch it that way. And if you need a disc, hopefully you've taken the time already to grab that. And if anybody in the comments needs a timestamp as we go because you weren't able to start the movie on time, just let me know. DJ, any important anything that we need to cover before we get started?
You covered it all, man. You did a good job.
Sweet, yeah. No, I'm great at these lengthy preambles where everybody's just looking at their watch. Oh, okay, Kurt the Gamer, we're watching Toy Story. It's Toy Story. Get out your Disney Plus or your disc, but we're going to start pretty quick here.
Just give a timestamp later.
Get it to timestamp 0. Everybody get ready to press play when I say now. And get ready to have You've Got a Friend in Me stuck in your head for the next 5 weeks. Here we go.
So true.
Everybody, please press play. Give me 1 second, actually. I got to get my subtitles on. And not German subtitles.
Can I get
Dansk?
No. Why is that in there?
That's the first one.
All
English
right.
is under Dansk.
presumably so German speakers. Yeah.
Everybody, please press play. Right now. when I have you on commentaries, I think every single time you like clear your throat just before I say now.
Oh.
It's like every time, everybody please
It's
press
tradition,
play.
man. You gotta do it.
It is.
I guess.
It is tradition.
But I'm always clearing my throat anyway. For
So
whatever
I feel
reason.
like Toy Story, at least for like my timeline in my life, is a really good kind of signpost for technological progress and just for how much stuff has changed. I remember making a project in junior high school about 3D animated film. And at the time, or maybe it was junior high, there were 3 of them so far. And I mentioned them, and one of them was ants, and I talked about things that were forthcoming. Like there were a lot of things kind of in the pipeline, but like I remember very vividly a time where there were none of these, and then when there were 3 of them, and we all predicted this naturally, but of course it overtook 2D animation and is primarily what we make now. And so obviously you can't put a number to it.
I always forget how old this is. I always think it's like 98, 99, and it's 95. It's so early. And it's crazy how good it looks. Like, it's not like we had to get through, like, the crappy 3D movies to get the first full-length one. It's, like, right out of the gate. I mean, obviously, they've since passed this in their further movies, but this one still looks great. It's still very watchable.
Of course.
I always forget how short this is.
Is it?
It's an hour 20.
Oh,
is how short it is. The length of a DC direct-to-video animated movie.
So you see these major blockbusters running so very long.
Well, and Pixar probably has other movies that aren't that much longer than this. Even some of the later ones, I'm not sure, but that's a thing that we never talk about. That like. That's got to be somewhat of a cost-cutting thing to some degree. Like, this is a feature-length, 3D animated thing. Very difficult at this time, of course, to get 80 minutes of this kind of product. But, like, it would have been really pushing it to much longer.
Well, I mean, and it helps the movies be super super concise because every single frame has to count. Like, you don't get a lot of long-winded, like, unnecessary scenes in this because it's so expensive at the time and difficult.
Right. Wouldn't have the time to make those.
That's a really good point too.
Yeah.
And obviously, I don't want to say that this movie doesn't hold up, because of course it does, and that it doesn't stand the test of time. But it is impossible to go back to this after just watching again the most recent Pixar movie and not go, "Wow, how far we've come with animation."
Sure.
I mean, it's hard just to go to like Incredibles or Monsters Inc., which was just like their 4th and 5th film, and those look way better than this.
Yeah, already. But you look at some stuff in Onward, and you got to do a double take. Like, wait, you didn't take a camera out and film this landscape? Like,
really?
So you were talking about how I've been watching all the Pixar films.
There's a park bench where I'm just like, how is that not a real park bench? It's ridiculous.
Have you seen Good Dinosaur yet? So that was one of the ones I hadn't seen yet either, and I just finally watched it last week. And the scenery looks like it's completely realistic, like it's with a camera. It's crazy because it's all outside, and
because I hear nothing but mediocre things about that movie.
I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. There's some themes of parenting in the beginning that I really liked, and it's kind of just like a boy and his dog like movie. It's nothing crazy.
Kellen O'Rourke was also mentioning the backgrounds in A Good Dinosaur. I'm going to try to catch up on a few of these comments real quick because there's quite a few of them. Chewbacca's Lover, DC direct-to-video films are usually 70-something, but they can go as far as 80, I think. I think there's a few that are somewhere between 75 and 80. Ace vs. Knight, I was going to make this point too. The reason this looks good is because they don't animate humans too much. The most ambitious thing they try is human faces. And they open the film almost right away with them. And at the time, it blew you away because we hadn't seen 3D faces that looked that good yet. You had Reboot right before this. And that's hard to go back to. And I can't think of a lot else that had tried that. I mean, obviously, Tron comes to mind, but that's more stylized. What do you say?
can I just say that Mr. Potato Head as a Picasso is
No,
such a
and
great
I think the
sight
line
gag.
after it is great, where he says, "You uncultured swine," and he's talking to the pig.
Yeah, he's talking to a pig.
Yeah, the one-liners all through the scene are amazing, and this does a really good job of setting, of course, the tone and the sophistication of humor and dialogue in this movie. But it also gives you a false sense of security because you're not expecting this movie to go as, for lack of a better word, edgy as it's willing to. The thing that's kind of amazing about this movie is it is a Disney movie through and through, and yet makes you wonder if it's not going to go somewhere a little bit closer by the middle, of course, with Buzz and Woody's kind of tete-a-tete. If it's not going to go to something closer like a American Tail or something.
Mm.
And it's the other thing that's amazing about this is that we got lucky in that didn't happen, and it didn't turn out weirdly cynical, because the early drafts of this movie were kind of nightmarish, and Disney was horrified of them. And I haven't looked into this in a long time, so I'm sure some folks in the comments will elaborate on this a little bit. But it could have been an absolute disaster. Like Brandon, when you were talking about before we started that, like, these are good natured, yeah, they almost weren't though.
That's very fascinating.
So they've got this nice edge to them, and then you get to the end, and it is a Disney movie, or it is a Disney.
Yeah, and I was gonna
sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, we definitely have
I was gonna say.
Go ahead.
First of all, have you seen that deleted scene? Like the on the Blu-ray, there's like this. They do one of the storyboards that they originally showed to Disney, and they were just like horrible to. Have you seen that? Yeah, okay. But anyway, when you said that, Brandon, I was going to say, because that was one of the things I noticed going back to this, now that I have a kid, and I'm like trying to watch everything and see like figure out what age I want to introduce them to this. I did notice that they are a lot more nasty to each other in this one than they are in the later ones. Like they eased off. Like they're calling each other idiots a lot in this, and they're like, there's a little more edge to them, like Captain Logan said.
But also, I feel like that fit the storyline too, because they became closer as time went on. It's just a group of toys. So.
But you'll never see a Pixar movie go that far again.
Oh no, of course not.
Incredibles, Pixar made kind of a big deal out of, this is supposed to be not just for kids necessarily, and we're trying to advertise more to adults now finally. And so there's a few lines here and there in that movie that you wouldn't think you'd do in a kids movie, but they still never go as far as you might have thought they would after this movie.
Especially Potato Head and Ham are like, they just like, I don't even think they like Woody at all. They're just so mean to Woody.
They're like,
yeah. Chewbacca's lover, you're right about VeggieTales in '93, but that didn't have human beings in it. Like, the facial expressions were as realistic as anything then, certainly, which is weird coming from like a Christian house that their animation was as good as it was back then. But we still hadn't tried humans the way this movie does, and again, it doesn't have them on screen for very long because they know that they're not quite where they want to be yet, and it's a long time before they do. Like human characters for any duration and have a human protagonist. It's not really till Up, I don't think, that we've got like a straight human protagonist from beginning.
Yeah, they kind of made a point never to do. Well, Incredibles is before that.
Oh no, that's true.
I guess superhero
Incredibles
angle, so it's not.
I don't know what I'm thinking. Yeah, but like it's not like everybody's wearing masks. So yeah, no, of course Incredibles is before that. I just wasn't thinking.
And then you get to cars, and they put the faces on the cars.
So can I just say that they do make a lot of noise, despite the fact that they all fall down in different places when people are coming. Also, Mr. Potato Head always puts himself back together. Wouldn't you find it suspicious if every time you came back to your bedroom, Mr. Potato Head back together?
That would be handy. That'd be a great gimmick. They should do that. Puts himself back together.
Yeah. Homing pieces that just magnets activate.
This is an interesting point from Blue Hawk Film. To DJ's point about introducing his kids to these films at deliberate ages, I was blessed to see each of the first three at almost the exact same age as Andy is each time. That's
because they come out. Well, the first two, or the second one's only 4 years after this, but then the third one's like 10. They're like decades in between the next two.
Yeah. Until you get to 3 and 4.
Was this?
Or no, that is still kind of close to a decade, isn't it? God, where did all that go? This is 95.
And then
I would have been 9.
Yeah, so imagine that this movie comes out the same year as Batman Forever, Casper the Friendly Ghost,
Ooh,
and the Power Rangers movie.
not much competition. Well, Batman Forever did good, but I'm just saying. Yeah.
Batman Forever was huge, but yeah. And I can't remember if this was a summer movie or not.
So
I think it was,
this
but I'd have to go back and look that up.
has something in common with Watchmen, which is it's way bigger and way more popular and much more staying power because it went with generic toys instead of like if it had done like a Lego movie thing where it was like IPs. Obviously, we weren't doing IPs like that in '95, but like the fact, I mean, and these are name brand toys, but they're more like, I don't know.
The smartest thing is the blend, right? That you have made-up toys as your leads, and then a lot of the supporting characters, but not all of them, are like classic toys that your parents played with, or that you're playing with now. Generic. And that gives it some, but that gives it some credibility. So it feels like it's in the real world because they can reference. They can not only have characters that are real toys.
Yeah,
that looks pretty good.
And that stress and everything. Hockey looks bad though.
But they can reference a lot of real life pop culture stuff and not have to get so genericified that it loses you, because it's like this is supposed to be about. You want it to be recognizable because kids. And even adults, but kids are going to look at this and be and imagine better, like their toys coming to life. But you're right, DJ. It's better that the leads aren't toys.
Yeah, and they keep doing that all the way through. Like when they introduce Jesse, and I like that whole world is like something they make up, like Woody's Roundup gang and all that.
And I think. And it's plausible. It feels like a thing that could have existed, and it's speaking to. Something like what is that old like Western kid show? Howdy Doody. It's like Howdy Doody, right? But kids, when this comes out and when Toy Story 2 come out, won't know what that is. They don't remember that, and so you're not thinking, okay, this is this like made up generic version of that. Buzz Lightyear is a space toy that never existed during a period where space toys were very in, but he's so far away from Star Wars, you're not thinking about Star Wars. And I think the other reason it's really important that your leads aren't things you've seen before is because you're not already putting a personality on them. So they can create these new characters and personalities, and kids aren't having to like adjust their brains about what those things
you said it's interesting that it's almost like it's a little timeless, right? Because it's not like Andy is a kid in the 90s. I mean, technically he is, but like the sensibilities of his toys are like much older, you know? Not too much older, but like his parent stuff.
Some of that could be hand-me-down. You don't know for sure how he got each of these toys. We know that Woody is an old toy, and so a lot of the more classic toys could be things that she just really took care of. Some of them are also DJ toys that were still very popular. So everybody had Army Men in 90s. A lot of people had Mr. Potato Heads. We certainly did, and before Toy Story. The Etch-a-Sketch was a thing. Probably the most obscure thing here is... Or at least of the ones that you think of. I mean, there's some more obscure background toys. But the Slinky Dog was not a thing I was familiar with before Toy Story. Obviously, I knew what a Slinky was. But I think Toy Story brought back the Slinky Dog. And I thought that was a thing they made up. I didn't know that was a thing.
I think it's smart that they went with...
But it's 90s and timeless simultaneously. I think it does manage to balance that.
I think it's smart that they went with the time-proven toys instead of like... He's not playing with tech decks and pogs or anything.
TH1 1423 is our timestamp on Disney Plus. And somebody mentioned that you can't perfectly sync up with this if you have the DVD because the logos are different.
Yeah, they added the
forgotten
new
about that.
Plus logo.
So that kind of sucks. Sorry about this, everybody. Hopefully from the context of what we're talking about. If anybody wants to know just what's on the screen so you can kind of figure it out, let me know, and I'm happy to help you out with that. DJ and I are still looking for some kind of a screen share a solution, and we just have not run into one yet since Rabbit Room.
Yeah.
Not a good one.
Speaking of Slinky Dog, can we talk about how he was originally voiced by Jim
Yes.
Varney,
Yeah.
who passed away during the run of... And I liked Jim Varney.
So do I.
liked
I've never
Ernest
met anyone who
movies.
likes the Ernest movies.
Ernest Scared
Oh,
Stupid,
yeah.
my
Well,
favorite.
Did you like the you found Ernest?
He's Ernest.
No.
He's the most
Although
earnest
Is that-
actor. He plays it so straight, and even though he's a freaking goofball.
That's why I said that. It's kind of deliberate. Yeah.
He's the laughing stock, but he takes it in
Yeah, he's so
stride,
sincere.
right?
He's so lovable. Tune in next week where we
do
watch
you
the
remember
entirety of the
the-
Ernest canon.
The reflection off the we're not doing that. The reflection off the helmet there
So
is
cool.
was really
Oh,
impressive in
yeah.
'95.
His commercials too, Jim Varney's
Yeah.
commercials for milk.
Yes, Edge one. When you wrote that, I think we were around climbing on the bed. Right now,
No,
there's
he's
bouncing
bed.
on the bed. And Gamma Sector 4. Anyway,
One thing I've always wondered is why do toys lose their... Why do they lose? Like, did Woody come out of his box thinking so seriously that he was Woody?
so the answer to that is almost unequivocally no, because toys always seem to be really surprised about Buzz and that he does this.
Right.
And when we get to 2, all of
And
the Buzzes
Zurg.
have this.
Yeah.
If a Buzz
Why-
comes out of
why?
his box, I don't know. It's a conceit that you just have to run with.
Well,
'cause it
while we're
doesn't
on
make
this,
sense.
while we're on conceits
And
that you
like
just have to run
Zurg.
with, you also have to just
They're the Zergs.
What?
His father, Buzz's father, Zurg.
Oh, sorry. I think you said
Yeah.
desserts.
No, Zergs. All the Zergs think that too, so it must be that
think
line of
that they're
toys.
real desserts.
It must be that line of toys, though. So
Yeah, Zurg also
Yeah.
has that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a conceit. But I think DJ's probably about to get into the toy physics and the
well, yeah, because it
self-awareness
doesn't
bit,
make
right?
any
Is that where you're
sense
going?
that he doesn't think he's a toy, but he still freezes every time someone comes in the room like everybody else does.
Yeah.
But you just have to.
Yeah.
You can't do it anymore.
Because you
yeah, you couldn't
shouldn't
have
have
a
a
movie.
movie if you didn't do that.
I didn't, and I never thought of it for like 20 years, and then as soon as someone points it out to you, you're like, oh, that makes no sense.
Which is why, and I don't want to get on this tangent too far, but when people complain about the self-awareness and, or not even just the self-awareness, but like, how do the rules work in cars? I'm like, you're complaining about that, but you have no problem with
Yeah.
the story? Like, isn't it a
Well,
similar
and just
issue?
what is keeping the toys doing it themselves? Because they can break the rules. They show at the end of this movie they can break the rules, but they just all don't.
Is it like breathing,
there are new
DJ?
rogue
Yeah.
toys that would just come alive.
I'm gonna assume it's supposed to be like breathing, where it's an autonomic function that you can control if you want to. So if somebody walks in, they fall down, but if they don't want to fall down, they can stop themselves from falling down. Like, if I'm not thinking about breathing, I'm doing it, but if I want to hold my breath,
Yeah, if it's
I
like
can
an
do
instinct
that.
that they have to do. Yeah.
let's go to the comments, guys. There's
Fine,
quite a
awesome.
few. Coach
Yeah.
Gamer just said the same thing I did, but much more distinctly. Succinctly,
Yeah,
it's
I
toy
mean, that's a
instinct.
valid response.
Chewbacca's Lover Cars is worse, no comparison. I'm not talking about the quality, but see, I knew this was going to happen between the two films. I'm just saying. Or do you mean it's worse in the...
Just how
the-
little
in
sense
the-
it makes.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. DJ and I have every
Yeah,
intention
we
of
love
eventually
Cars.
doing
Cars is
that.
great.
So,
I like how all these earthly toys are really impressed with the space toy.
Matthew Bay says, just don't think about it. Yeah, but it's kind of fun to think about. It doesn't destroy the movie or anything, and I think they're as consistent.
Yeah, we're not complaining about it. It's just fun to talk about.
Still okay with it. But I can't help but wonder what Brandon was wondering, why you don't have other toys that have this problem. Also, he gets really lucky that this works. The whole style thing. One complaint I will lob at this movie, and it's not a huge complaint or anything. And again, I guess you could almost put it in conceit in like a gimmick category, because I don't know how you do this movie without it. But a whole lot of conveniences where the script is just like setting Buzz up so that he won't find out that he's a toy
Until it's
ready
the
for
most
him.
impactful moment.
And that's kind of like cartoon logic, right? Or in a lot of Warner Brothers cartoons, Sex Agent cartoons, things like that. You kind of you kind of have a convenient world built around a character so that they can get in all the mischief and mayhem and stuff that they get into, or they can have like the kind of sitcom-y, confusion to have the sketch, and then not find out about it until the end, or maybe never. And this does that, but in a dramatic setting, which makes it
That's what started the POV first-person camera shots.
a little bit more difficult to.
It's all Toy Story's fault.
Yeah. I like that Andy has not an arc, but you see him going through like kid phases in the background, and it's very believable and realistic how a lot of kids are, where they are obsessed with one thing and then they quickly move on to something.
I just thought of another plot hole with the whole how to be poison. Buzz gets played with Andy.
Yeah.
Andy plays with all of
them.
them.
Yeah, what does Buzz think is happening?
Like, maybe that's his reality? Is he that far removed from reality that...
Yeah. Kurt the Gamer also says it's because of the switch on Buzz's back. It resets his memory. They reveal that in the third film. Yeah, but that makes it even weirder for me. Because it's like... Okay, so his, like... I don't even know how to explain this. So, his memory as a toy is actually built into his, like, computer memory. Most toys don't have that. So why does that make a difference? Brian, like, is it, if you have a computer chip, then you're set that way accidentally? Because
it's like they're all sentient except for the ones that have more advanced technology. It's weird. Maybe that like overrides their sentience.
Well, Dragonfly, the answer is assumedly there was a manufacturing error in the Buzz Lightyear toy line. That's how they kind of play it in the sequels. Yeah. Rohit the Horror, in my opinion, Toy Story has probably some of the best voice acting amongst all the Pixar films. I agree, and it starts the trend right away of we're not concerned with selling on famous people. We're concerned with getting the talent that sounds like what we want these characters to sound like. So you do end up with really famous people, because those are some of the most talented people in Hollywood. Go figure.
But they were the right picks.
They were the right picks, and most importantly, we don't sell the movies on the real hard. And I always really appreciated Pixar for not, in their advertising up front, making a big deal. Like, here's a big laundry list of people you've heard of, which every other house does.
And Pixar still does. Onward did that a lot. It was a lot of Chris Pratt and what's his face? Like, hey, watch our movie. I was worried going in. Like, I couldn't not see their faces all over the advertising, and I was like, man, I'm not gonna be able to think of anything but these two actors when I'm watching it. But it didn't affect the movie too much. I was able to block them out a little bit.
I've seen a bunch about Onward, but I'm going to say that I actually hadn't seen who was in that movie. I'd seen a bunch of advertising, but I wasn't really paying attention.
He's right, though.
Yeah, I can't even think of his name right now. Who's Spider-Man? What's his name? Tom Holland.
Killer Rourke, you think Sid is a villain or a misunderstood kid? The answer is yes.
He's the antagonist. I mean...
We're supposed to entirely hate him, but from the toys' perspective, of course, they are scared of him, and they kind of have that. But this movie has a wonderful, and all of them do this, but this movie has a wonderful sense of perspective. Where it's very easy to forget the larger world, and Pixar in general does that a lot. From this to Bug's Life to Monsters Incorporated, like, it's all from the perspective of the characters in a different world, so to speak, than the one that we're in, and so it's really easy to fall into the way they look at things and forget that, oh yeah, Sid really is just some kid who seems to be kind of raised wrong, and his parents aren't paying attention to him, or his I think he's one of those kids that is just raised by his grandma and nobody pays it. Or
it is his mom, but it's also he's just breaking toys. It's not like he's doing anything evil.
A lot, and that's why I kind of thought that for a second I thought we did that, but no, we don't do that. We don't do the Biff Tannen thing. There's a reason Biff Tannen is raised by his grandma. That's all I'm saying.
It's a combat Carl. Hopefully you're there. I didn't just spoil something for you.
Then the Toys for All these movies were real spot on too, because they could make something that looked like this world. This world looks manufactured even much as it looks great, but they could make something identical to what they put on screen.
But also, like, half of the toys that you see are things that already existed anyway.
That's true. But like the Buzz Lightyears and the Woodies that they did put out.
I mean, all you're really saying is that you didn't have to adapt 2D to 3D, right? Like, anything in a 3D animated movie is going to be easier to make it look exactly like the thing in the film. But you're right, like, because they're plastic, sure. Like,
while we're talking about the texture, I'm going to say something that maybe proves that I'm an idiot. I did not realize until Toy Story 4 that Bo Peep was supposed to be made of like a different type of material.
I'm not convinced she was until
because,
that.
Well, she's a...
Or have you seen anything yet watching this again that makes that clear? Because
no.
It's not just because... So virtual reality is my favorite gag in the movie.
I've never seen that.
It's fantastic. And remember, 95 people were really into the idea of virtual reality. It's the best.
They used to have things you could ride in the mall.
I point that out to people all the time.
I never noticed that. Yeah.
Like, it's the best gag in the whole movie.
Porcelain,
what were we talking about?
Porcelain Bo Peep.
DJ, I don't think she was supposed to be porcelain. I really don't, because I've heard people
she gets
say,
on the lamp.
Well, they just like with the animation at the stage it was at this time, they just couldn't make it look like. I think that is BS. I don't think that they had thought that until they got the film. Now, I don't know that there's anything that really discounts it too much, except you never got the sense that she wasn't really a toy. Like, they retroactively say she's part of a lamp? Or is she part of a lamp?
She does get on the lamp, okay, but I never thought about that. I always thought she was just walking around like a toy.
Okay, so that part's not retroactive, but I don't think she was ever supposed to be porcelain.
It may have been just like a plastic lamp, but it turns out that it belonged to the mom way back then. So at that point, it's going to be vintage. It's going to be porcelain. That may be, and there is a theme that some of these toys, like you said earlier, are older. Who did they belong to?
Blue Dragon 5 says she was always.
Yeah, she looked like now that you tell me, and I'm looking at her, she looks a little glossy, but like I just never put it together because the animation was not there yet, and they look so close.
What do you think that like makes that significant? So it makes me suspicious of it. You know what I mean? Like if they had her like knock off a piece of herself or be really careful because she's porcelain, but like she's not careful.
Actually, yeah, she's not glossy at all right there.
Mm-mm.
So,
and I mean, Blue Dragon 5 knows his animation. Like that guy probably can give me something. But if you have like where are you getting that from? Because I don't know what would tell you that.
Tyler overall says this is the part where Woody murders Buzz.
Yes, my wife hates Woody.
Well, so does everybody else, as we're seeing. Everyone turns on him so quick.
He's.
Mm-hmm. Right, Mr. Potato Head's the leader, but I almost said that earlier.
Rises everybody up against him as a mutiny.
And I go back and forth on this. On some watches, I'm more with Woody, and on some watches, I'm more with Potato Head and the rest of them. Like, sometimes I'll watch this movie and I'll be like, you guys are really, like, you've known Woody and he's been your leader for how long, and you're not going to give him the benefit of the doubt. At the same time, if I were animating him, I would maybe not give him these, like, really, looking, like, eyebrow creases. Like, I'm gonna murder him!
He's covered in Aubrey, man.
He seems a little malevolent in places, certainly. Kellen Rourke asked if Sid's dad was drinking soda or beer cans, and Tyler overall says it's officially soda. Again, I'm not sure why, but...
Somebody said earlier that Andy looks like a goblin, and it made me laugh.
Oh, and yes, Blue Dragon, you're right. Like, Woody just wanted to get him stuck behind the desk. He wasn't actually trying to murder him, but he's acting so, like, devious
well, he just wanted to go to the...
He is, okay.
To the pizza place.
But I guess the point I'm trying to make is, and I think this is the reason my wife doesn't like it, I don't want to put words in her mouth, but I think this is what it is, because we've talked about it before, is it feels a little contrived that he's acting so, like, in the moment, kind of murderous looking, so that they'll think that he's more being more evil than he is.
Yeah.
It's a little contrived. It's almost like that character is not actually doing the things we're watching him do because it needs to be perceived that way. You see what I'm saying? I love Dinoco. Dinoco keeps coming back.
Yeah, it's a big thing in Cars.
That's also in Cars. But yeah, Dinoco feels like a real gas station, and when I was a kid, I probably thought it was.
So does Pizza Planet.
Also, the license plate.
Pizza Planet.
Yes.
The license plate on this car is A113, and that's a running gag, inside joke. A lot of movies use A113.
Oh, really?
Like an Easter egg.
I think it's like a studio at
Okay,
Pixar. I think they have like a room or something.
There was a graduate of their, I think one of the founding members actually used it for something, and that's why.
One of the biggest leaps in all of these movies for me, DJ, is I do not buy that Woody has been around for as long as he has, and his the hold of that hat. I think it would be gone now, but it is also clear that that's his mother. Really
it also like never comes off unless he takes it off. Like when they're fighting right now, it's stuck on there really good.
Yeah, it's like suctioned on, and when it comes off, there's this great sound effect whenever you take it off. It's like, what? Did either of you guys ever play the Genesis or Super Nintendo game for Toy Story?
I think so. Was it really, really hard? Yeah, I think I did a little bit.
Yeah.
What I played more was the like skateboarding game. Did you play the early like Disney Pixar skateboarding game where you could go to Pizza Planet and it was awesome. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
The only Pixar game I ever played was A Bug's Life.
Oh, I never.
That one was hard
but
too.
Yeah, so that game was revolutionary. It was toward the end of this life cycle, and just after I'm sure Donkey Kong Country, where we got those 3D rendered sprites, and that just blew everybody's mind. And Toy Story kind of took that and went with it, and it's still pretty impressive. It has a really great soundtrack. It follows the movie pretty well. There's a fun dream sequence that you play with Buzz as a boss, where Woody is imagining murdering him, trying to. And, yeah, it's really good. But yes, it's
the sanctity of the entire universe is in jeopardy. This is such a good breaking point for Woody. Like, he just snaps. Really famous line.
Reflection. Oh, that's cool.
TH1 is complaining he can't hear me, but I haven't heard that from anybody else. So let me know if...
yeah, you want to go ahead and do a super chat?
Audio difficulties. Yeah, go ahead.
TH1 gives a super chat. He says, what do you think of the theory that Jessie in Toy Story 2 used to be Andy's mom's toy? And then he also says the audio's dipping out.
Yeah, I never thought of that.
That would be pretty convenient.
It was convenient, but I felt like it worked.
The audio issue, if that is still happening, is a Skype thing. It's because DJ is the one broadcasting right now, and if that continues to be a problem for people, we'll probably have to do it the old way next time. I went back and looked at the audio from last time DJ, and it didn't seem as bad as everybody was saying it was. It wasn't perfect. There were some bits where it dipped in and out a little bit, but I could make everything out okay.
Yeah, I'm hearing a little on my end, but I don't think there's anything I can do about it.
Convenient that it is a spaceship that he can lure Buzz to, right?
Well, I mean, just convenient that the truck that's taking them to the place that they need to go to. But like Cap said, that's kind of this
Everybody's yelling, you are a toy in the comments. Yeah, that's classic.
Yeah.
Back to the super chat real quick. That's not a thing I'd ever heard of. Or I'd ever thought of.
Yeah, that's crazy. You never think that she's that old, but I guess that was kind of the era.
Also could have been a hand-me-down from her parents, though. Because, I mean, if that goes back to the 50s, well...
Yeah, the TV show's in black and white, so...
I'm not sure how old her mom is supposed to. Annie's mom is supposed to be, but yeah, you wouldn't think. I wouldn't think she'd be that old. She'd have to be like 45.
There he goes.
Or younger, actually, probably a little older. And Andy is like 7 or 8. Like Andy is just a couple of years younger than I would have been at this time. Now my parents got early, but my parents were, in their late 20s.
Mm-hmm. This place is so cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And this is a scene where you'll notice how far the technology's come, because when they're in the arcade, the backgrounds are just like so bland and there's no one around. There's like one token person just like doing one motion over and over.
This was one of the most fun levels in the video game too. You do exactly what they do here, except obviously for like a really long time, and the building is much longer than it should be. But they go inside. Yeah, you do something in the truck. I can't remember what that was, but you disguise yourself like they do here, and then you have to keep like hiding under the cup or under the box whenever something comes close to you. So you have to do that, but for like 10 minutes in a level.
Okay, I really dig the aesthetic to the whole space idea here with these aluminum bulkheads as you come in the airlock.
Yeah, I always forget that Buzz Lightyear is glow in the dark in the first place.
Yeah, that's a nice little touch.
So yeah, Pizza Planet, and that's another kind of, but I buy it. It's fine, but that's another like somewhat contrived thing where it's like we've got to get Buzz into a place that looks like a spaceport to continue to reaffirm his delusions. Yeah. But this is Chuck E. Cheese, but like 20 times less lame. Yeah. What sucks about the Toy Story universe is everything is cooler than what we had.
Yeah, this is the craziest claw machine.
Say that because maybe you wouldn't say that if you're not a sci-fi guy. Like, everything is space, right? And
do you call it a claw machine or a crane machine? So do I. They call it a crane machine in this.
A claw. Is that colloquial?
I think so.
Actual crane machines. They have a crane in them.
Yeah.
That the shovel comes
That's
down.
actually a thing.
Yeah.
But this is the craziest claw machine in the world. It's like 30 feet tall. And it's lame because it's all the same thing. I hate those ones.
I always love the aliens. They're annoying in a way they're not annoying in a way the minions are. And the minions feel like something of a ripoff of them. And
yeah, they're not in it that much. They do get a little more annoying in the sequels.
They could get stupid annoying if you made a prequel movie about them. So don't do that. They're almost non-existent in 4, but like the first time I saw 4, I was like, they're not here, but they're being merchandised everywhere, and they actually are in like.
Hold on, maybe do the aliens not know that they're toys, because they talk about the claws, they're like their master, and he like chooses who will go and who will stay.
Space toys are
it's only space
we're learning. Okay. Why?
And they're just squeaky. They don't have any technology in them. I've been chosen.
But they too have the instinct to go unconscious whenever anyone picks them up.
Yeah.
Kellen, that's awesome. The most unrealistic part of the movie is Sid being able to make the crane work. He gets it on the first
Well, he gets
try.
a Buzz Lightyear.
That's
2 in a row.
Yeah, and the Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah, just by the bowl like that, that's crazy.
Also, I don't mean to make it sound like I think this movie is the most controlled in the world. I'm just saying this today, but they had to design a crane, or they had to design a claw that is way bigger than it would need to be to pick up just aliens so that it can get around Buzz Lightyear.
So we got a super chat from another one from TH1. I don't know if you guys saw this when it was going on, but he said he loves the soda fountain, but would that be practical? Did you guys see the soda fountain?
I forget what that looked like. It was like...
It's like an alien head, and it like spits it at you, and it's like this high up in the air, so you have to catch it in your cup.
No, that would not... No, that would be messy, and there would be a janitor that would have to constantly clean that up. They would have to hire somebody at a place like that to only.
And I don't think there was like a button. I think you just held it up and it like shot it in your cup.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Drawing
but cool
on the inside of that backpack.
I mean, that's a really neat attention to detail.
Yes.
No, it's outside. It's outside.
Oh, well, it goes
or was there also one inside?
Maybe it's embroidered on it.
Oh, well, if it's embroidered and they fought to show it to you on the inside, that's killer. Yeah. Wow.
I mean, we are looking at the inside of a zipper.
Yeah, they definitely weren't lazy. It's not like they got less lazy over the years. It's just that the technology got so much better.
No, I mean, their attention to detail was massive going all the way back to the earliest short.
Yeah, and it's still amazing that this is the first full-length film, and it's this good. It looks this good.
And still this watchable. Because it doesn't take me out very often.
Oh, look, he's got an N95 mask.
As far as how under-detailed and unrealistic certain things look like.
So those are drawings, right?
The biggest thing, they are. The biggest thing is just human faces and that they don't feel quite filled in. Right? Like, they don't look quite done.
They look kind of like Gumby.
They just weren't there yet.
They're kind of Play-Doh-y looking.
And it's impossible not to compare, for me anyway, human faces in different eras in 3D animated movies or CG stuff to video game eras, right? Like, okay, that's a PS1 face. And if you've never played a PS1 game, that probably looks better than if you have.
PS1 be more polygonal, like there'd be pointy edges.
Maybe they're getting closer to a PS2 face already, but you see what I mean? Like, it looks like things you've played in a video game, and we've had games since then that are way more sophisticated and filled in. So if you never played video games, this movie looks better. Probably. Mr. Weeping Dalek, how would you rank the 4 films? I figured this was inevitable. I find that impossible. It changes for me all the friggin' time. Right now, I keep putting a 1 on top because I have a really hard time putting anything over it, but I think 4 may be my favorite at this point.
Wow.
At least at the moment. So I'm going to go like 4, 1, 3, 2, I guess, but it's like, it's all so close, it kind of doesn't matter. So where are you on that, DJ?
Oh, you go ahead, Brandon.
Go ahead, Brandon.
Toys seem to have prejudice towards the mutilated or the disfigured here.
Right.
I hadn't really seen that as well.
I mean, wouldn't you be creeped out by that?
Well, I think as a kid, sure, but I feel like toys should understand. Like, I guess they don't want to be ripped apart and put into other forms, do they?
Yeah, of course. And also, they have preconceptions just like anybody else does. They have...
That makes sense.
So, Woody has seen some of these toys not mutilated before, probably.
Oh, certainly.
And Buzz Lightyear is on what he thinks is a strange alien planet where things just got way more strange and alien.
Yeah.
But you're right. So, like, from Buzz's perspective, it looks hideous for the same reason it would for me and you. Mm-hmm. From Woody's perspective, it's just what you said in the first place. I wouldn't want this to happen to me, and I can tell that these things have been Frankenstein, right? Like it's like you just saw insane mad science or something.
Yeah, they are definitely.
So I thought you were gonna rank yours, Brandon, but I'll go ahead and rank mine. So you said, Brandon, these are like some of your. I'm assuming these are like some of your favorite Pixar movies, this universe. These are actually like not. I'm not a huge Toy Story fan. Like they're kind of towards the bottom of my Pixar list, except for 2. I love 2. 2 is like in my top 7.
Oh, weird. Yeah, because I put that at the very bottom. But again, I like it.
2 is the one I grew up with. I watched it a million times as a kid. A lot more than 1. I didn't like to go back to 1 because, like I said, it's a little darker and I was younger. But yeah, 2. Mine goes 2, and then 1, and then 3, 4 probably. But I've only seen 3 and 4 once each. So, but that's how mine would go right now.
I just think this franchise has such a high standard of quality constantly that ranking them is really difficult because there's not, for me anyway, there's not one that just stands out as like way under par for the rest. Some people feel that way about 3 because they think the ending went too dark, and I get that with like personal sensibilities and your preference. But I think the scripts are all real close to par.
So that's kind of a stereotypical trope of like a Western. Some guy, gets his head in the trough or something like that.
No, that's true.
He just got that through a very different reason, but like,
I'm not sure that was even intentional, but that's true. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, we got
DJ, you
two
want to
super
give us a
chats,
super
one
chat?
from Lucas Green, but it looks like there's a typo. I'm going to read it straight, and then we can try to figure out what he said. He says...
I don't know what that means either. I was
I
hoping
think he
that
just
you would
means
have a
Andy's
better
parents,
understanding
but
of
I'm
it.
going to... Because it says explain...
Oh, because he wrote age.
So I'm going to read it that way. Explain this to me. Why does Andy's parents allow him to leave this stuff and cause this chaos to have this stuff? Maybe he's saying Sid's parents. I'm going to read it with Sid's. Explain this to me. Why does Sid's parents allow him to have this stuff and cause this chaos? Also, why does Woody have a holster with no gun? Maybe he lost it.
I'm going to assume the gun got lost, although I don't know if we have a sense of that in 2 because he's supposed to be complete and perfect when he gets restored, and there is no gun.
I guess just
so there
it's
is
a kid's
that.
Toy.
So maybe he never came with a gun? Right, but from going that far back, we would not have been that careful about it. And it wouldn't have been, oh, this is for children, we don't have a gun. Like, if he's from the 40s or 50s, he would have absolutely had a gun. And it would have
But if he was from the 40s or 50s, they also wouldn't have made, like, a tiny, tiny gun. They didn't do, like, that mass-produced, like, tiny stuff back then. So maybe not.
I think he is a big enough toy they may have, though. I mean, some had accessories, I think. You may be right, though. I'm honestly not totally sure. But I do agree with you that Andy's parents shouldn't allow him to have that stuff. And I think it's supposed to just be kind of a social commentary that's real subtle, where he's got... We don't really know all that much about his home life. It seems like he's just got parents or a parent. I'm going to assume he's got a single parent.
Well, we see his dad in the chair. He's just sleeping all day and drinking. And then...
And did we also...
Yeah, they shout to mom.
So I guess he just has...
But they're just like, clearly just like lazy parents that don't...
Really, I'm all over the place on that. I just didn't remember what his parent was like, what his background was. But yeah, his parents clearly are in a bad place in their life and not taking care of their children correctly. Yeah. And
so they don't even know what's in his room, probably. Especially because he has like 10 padlocks on his door when he shuts it. Did you see that?
Yeah, like, are they...
I think they're absent.
Are they just absentee and negligent, or are they sort of that, but also the kind of parents that just give him whatever you want?
I think they gave up on him, honestly.
It doesn't look like they clean their house, they don't turn lights on, like, they're clearly not taking care of their kids. Negligent was the word I was looking for.
All right, we got some super chats coming in.
Well, they seem to be more involved in the girl's life, and they just given up on him.
Well, yeah, some parents are just like, he's a teenager now. Just leave him for 6 years, and that's what's gonna happen. So we got a super chat from...
So could be that she's more savvy because she's seen, the horrible things that have happened to her brother, and she's just trying to be careful not to turn into that. I mean, some kids kind of raise themselves and turn out okay despite horrible home lives.
Sure.
So Tyler Overall gives us a super chat. He says, how would you think Toy Story would have done if it was an animated movie in the 60s starring John Wayne as Woody and William Shatner as Buzz?
Interesting. It's not a movie that could have existed back then. And I don't mean because of the animation. You said 2D animation. I just don't think that precisely this story you think of until you have more eras of toys.
Yeah.
Do you buy that?
Although most of these are from the 60s. Even Spacemen were around in the 60s.
Where you have...
That's not what I mean. I'm talking about the story that we're telling. This
Old
is
versus new.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's about like and it's about trends. It's about like kids jumping onto the brand new thing, which I guess was also happening in the 60s, but I just don't know if we would have thought to tell a story quite like this at that time.
That's a really cool scene and shot, by the way.
But if you could, if that existed, I guess it just depends on, how good the animation was and stuff, but those seem like good actor choices, I guess.
Yeah.
Look at that carpet.
It's like a hotel room.
I just mean, look how real that carpet
or a hotel hallway.
Yeah.
The carpet kind of matches the wallpaper in that hallway.
So Buzz is kind of like Professor X in the first run of the X-Men movies, where he's always under some kind of spell or like broken or like or delusional. Like we never get to see, except for in 2, what Buzz is like.
And he's maybe a little bit morally ambiguous and hopes nobody notices. He's got a little bit of, and not as far as obviously the toys think that he does. He wouldn't have actually murdered Buzz, of course. But he does have a little bit of a ends-based ethics thing going on, like maybe Professor X does. That's not a comparison I would have ever thought to make, and now all I want to do is run with that and talk about it for the rest of the commentary. I'm not going to do that. It also makes me want to have a moment where Woody gets hit by some kind of an energy beam and goes, ah!
Why is Buzz all of a sudden?
Because he's been drinking invisible tea, and that's somehow...
Yes. Because he just had a shattering disillusionment, Brandon, and he can't deal with... Do I have to explain the movie to you?
Well, I mean, that would explain the craziness, but he's also just...
it's just drunk. Tim Allen doing a funny voice. So we got a lot of super chats. So I'm gonna do a couple more. TH1 says, "Have you heard of Toy Story 0?" We have not. I don't know. He doesn't explain. That's all he said. I love the strip poker type thing where he has to like give him a piece of him.
That's really funny. Yeah. The places where they go like really creatively, like nigh risque. Where like for the adults in the audience, you're like, I get what that is. That's really funny, but it's not actually harmful to kids or anything. Yes. They're not going to get what you're doing anyway. But I knew people that were bothered by lines like light beer, and I was like, get over yourselves and grow up a little bit. Like that's fine, like somehow we're like endorsing alcohol for children by saying the word beer in a children's film. Like, get out!
I could
get
see
out
that.
of here.
This one does go further than any of the other Pixar movies. Like, what is the innuendo supposed to be when Ham's cork pops out and he's like, "All right, no one look till I get my cork back in." Like, what is that supposed? What's the joke?
I don't know. It's kind of funny. I don't need that to make sense.
Like, I feel like it's dirty, but I don't know what it's supposed to be.
That's so dirty. Oh, he's got a black light. That's a nice touch.
You are a liar.
Greatest posters, web terror.
Woody's an idiot in this scene. He's an absolute crazy... So, the other reason that Sarah cannot stand Woody is that he doesn't seem to ever really learn from his mistakes. Where, like, all he has to do is stop lying right now. And, like, they may not believe him for a while, but the last thing on Earth you do is pretend like that's actually Buzz. Because if you mess up, it's going to look like you ripped his arm off.
Especially because he's so casual.
What happens?
I mean, I understand he's at his wit's end because Buzz is not working with him at all, and he's just like his one chance.
No, of course, yeah. No, I get what's happening in the movie, but I also get why it drives my wife crazy. He's also really insulting his friends by thinking that they'll buy that.
Well, he does kind of rule them like a dictator, and they are kind of dumb. Like, they do believe it pretty well until he does it.
That's true. No, he is desperate, though. I mean, I'll give you that.
So this might go along with what you were saying about your wife.
No, Supergraphic, I don't think it's galactically stupid. I wouldn't go to galactically stupid. Every time I call somebody an idiot or stupid, somebody always pops up and goes, like, galactically stupid. That's a
So Lucas Green asks, if you had to pick one, is it Buzz's or Woody's film?
No, it's definitely Woody's film. No, of course. And every movie is.
Yeah, the second one definitely is.
This is the closest we get to it also being Buzz's movie. It's not like he doesn't have an arc. He certainly has to learn that he is not a toy, or that he's a toy, come to grips with that and accept it. So that does happen. You could make an argument for dual protagonists, but at the end of the day, I think it does still turn out to be more Woody's story than his, because the real kind of character study is how does this guy come to learn to accept that he is not Annie's favorite, and he may not be the leader forever. That kind of thing.
It's really interesting that these are such big ensemble pieces, but they always are Woody's movies. Like, you would think after this one that these two would kind of be dual protagonists throughout, but then, like I said, Buzz keeps getting taken out by all these different things.
Because they just don't know what to do with them anymore after this. And it would have been really nice if somehow another movie could have been, or one of the later movies could have actually been for his story. Because we got so close.
And if they ever do a 5, like, I'm more okay with the 5 than I was with the 4 because of how they ended 4. It's so crazy.
Yep,
Never thought I would say that.
Of course. I also would be okay with splitting them off and doing a couple of franchises simultaneously. Because after 4, like, you don't want to contrive some way for Woody to go back to them. Like, I really like him being off on his own now. He needs to be like vigilante superhero Woody now. And if you do a Toy Story 4 or Toy Story 5, it either shouldn't have Woody in it or he should just come in and leave. And then he should get his own franchise. I really think.
Yeah, but I'm also okay with Woody just like being done.
Box.
Like, that was his ending. If they wanted to.
I'm also fine with that. But if you have a Toy Story 5, just don't bring him back.
Don't bring it back at all.
That would
maybe a cameo, but like, focus on Buzz and the other ones.
The box that Sid pulled that exploding rocket out of said illegal. ILLEAGLE for illegal.
Yep.
I had 90s. Not noticed
that's
that
what
before.
Sid is the most 90s thing, or maybe 80s, 90s.
That was a Binford
That's
toolbox
awesome.
from Home Improvement, Tim Allen's show.
Oh, of course. Yeah, you got to get that reference in there.
That was great.
I never noticed that. You know, Chewbacca's Lover, I think I actually would be okay with that, too, if you came up with a good way to contrive it. He says, do Buzz and Woody with none of the other toys. That would be the exception, I think. If you could find a way to give them, like an actual buddy movie, where Woody doesn't come back and stay, you just come up with some reason for them to be together for a film, I could be led, with the right story, to be cool with that, too. I like the lighting in this scene.
Cowboys and Aliens?
No. That movie's boring, and I can't get through it.
We have a super chat from Lucas Green. He says, if you were in Buzz's shoes, would you be soul-crushed too?
Yes, of course, and that's what makes him endearing and believable there. Because up to that point, he is much more of a cartoon character, of course, and then he's got this shattering disillusionment. That's the big moment that makes you realize we're looking at more realistic characters, and that these are three-dimensional people. I think that's actually super important to tell you what kind of story.
No, it definitely it really humanizes him, especially because he's so likable, because he believes it instead of like trying to live in a fantasy world. And he's so depressed. It's so sad.
Yeah, it's definitely an opportunity for change he takes. I mean, like, no, he has an arc. There is a story for him. It's just hard for me not to say that it's not still more Woody's movie than his.
So disillusioned as he is, wouldn't he be the type of toy to come alive when?
Yeah, that kind of gives credence to the idea that it's instinct and they can't help it. But they can break instinct. It. So
yeah, it's a thing they can't turn off.
That's the kind of thing you only talk about in these kind of videos.
And I think they do, because again, it doesn't wreck the movie, but I think they do that because it's the last thing you'll expect. When we get there, it is a really satisfying moment. It's such a cool
terrifying,
kind of shock for that kid. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, they screwed up.
We see he turned around later. And is that 3 that he comes back as like a garbage man or something?
I think we see him in 2 as a garbage man.
Yeah, they're still like 12 and 2.
No, it wouldn't have to be 3, right? They're still kids at that point, yeah. Lucas Green wants to know if we're doing the sequels. It could happen. I don't want to promise anything on this show because we're making
this is just kind of
secret.
Whatever we feel like watching show. There's not like any sequence to this.
Mm-mm. No, we're doing this a lot like Star Trek Club, where we don't want to have a plan. Except that we're not making a wheel. We're just deciding right ahead of time. I guess we could do that, DJ. I guess we could throw a bunch of movies on a wheel that we both would actually want to watch. But I think there will be some that we'll have to do some.
That would be awesome if you could get a wheel
for.
and we could actually spin it.
Well, on Star Trek Club, we're doing a digital wheel.
So I looked it up. That spiral notebook that's in there is a real Army manual for munitions.
Sid would definitely have
31-210.
Those crates are so familiar to me because I used to work at Kroger and I used to have to sit on one for like 8 hours a day while I conditioned the shelves.
I've got a milk crate at home.
So we have a super chat from Lucas Green. He says, Woody does make / turn Buzz into, my opinion, a better toy / person than himself, which we see strongly in 2. Interesting. The idea that he would help Buzz become a better toy, and that's why Buzz doesn't need to character arc every movie like Woody does.
That's a really good point. Yeah. I think there's a lot of truth to that. Because once Buzz comes to grips with that, he's just completely fine with everything.
Yeah, he just goes into being a toy like wholeheartedly. Like it suits him perfectly.
And he finds his place. It helps that he remains Andy's favorite toy for a long time. So like, you know, now he's got his place. Woody's arc is maybe a little bit more tragic, which is perhaps why people identify with it more and why it feels more like it's his movie, right? Where he has to come to grips again with the fact that he has to, you know, at first give up the favorite spot and then sort of share it.
Well, it's kind of like
and he's never going to feel like he has a place as much as he used to, and Buzz discovers his place, and so he sort of gets what Woody had already. Even if they get to share it, I think it's still not super tragic, but it's certainly.
Yeah, well, Andy kind of goes through an arc that we don't see, where he's all about Buzz for this movie, but he kind of mellows out and doesn't go through phases anymore and just kind of plays with all of his toys. Like every movie after this opens with him just playing with all of them together.
And I can't remember if it's at the very end of this movie where he puts them both together and now they're both his favorite, or if that's in 2 before we get there.
Yeah, I guess maybe him losing them both and like getting them both back in like a miraculous way like made him like keep them together.
Yeah, but I thought at the end of this he already was like, these are my favorite toys, and he's got like posters of both of them now. And is that not?
I don't know. I don't know if we see his room again because they're moving, so he doesn't set up his room again.
Oh, that's right.
These toys are already the creepiest toys before he even like mangled them.
Yeah, true enough.
Oh, that's right. And then they're having the yard sale at the beginning of the next movie. I forgot about that. Okay.
The worst looking thing in this movie is the dog.
Yeah, because it looks like a toy, like everything
dog.
else. Someone said earlier that
Someone
said earlier that this worked so well that they did toys because CGI looked like toys back then, which is a great point.
Yeah.
That kind of went also with the point that I made about how the toys, you know, looked so movie perfect because the movie looked like actual toys.
Yeah, so you're just you know, running
well, and
with
this
your
kind of plays on
right?
Expectations that people already have, like growing up with like the old like Christmas stop motion movies where they look like just dolls moving around, and they kind of match that with the motion in this movie.
You're right. For sensibilities at the time, especially for adults watching this, it's going to feel almost closer to watching like claymation than animation, because you're so used to flat drawn animation. And remember, Nightmare Before Christmas was just a couple years before this. Or maybe the previous year, 93, 94.
Yeah, and obviously early CG movies were looking at stop motion a lot. Because they're trying to mimic that 3D.
Jason wants to know what we think happened to the toys that were in the first movie but not in the other films. Some of them were told what happened, and some of them we just... We never know for sure, but Woody will just say like, and we lost some along the way. We're not real specific about it, but I'm sure most of them got sold at yard sales or got lost somewhere.
That's great.
There may even be some toys that are still around, but are in boxes somewhere, and the other toys.
I never thought about that, but it would have been a little cooler in 2, and I love 2, and Squeaky's awesome, but it would have been a little cooler if we saw a toy from the first movie that we already knew was one of the ones that was getting like put on the shelf because he was too old, like Squeaky in the second one.
Yes,
that would have been a little more.
Yeah, of course.
Although Squeaky's so sad, and I feel bad for him.
That is super sad. Yeah, I love that voice too. This goes without saying, but there's a lot of really ambitious camera work in this.
Down the stairs,
some crazy first-person or over-the-shoulder stuff when we're moving. All the action stuff is super cinematic.
Like, this is where we know his parents are so neglectful. He's got, like, a rocket that we see later, like, fully explode.
Yeah.
Yeah, child services.
Like, how did he order this? Like, this isn't the internet. This isn't the internet. Well, we see him get the package, and he's, like, super psyched. Like, his parents had to order it for him. There's no internet back then.
Right.
Maybe the voice he's doing right now for like mission control is also the voice he uses when he gets on the phone and orders things. He's like, "Oh yes, excuse me, I would like to buy a exploding
Maybe he like
rocket."
uses a voice recorder and slows it down like Home Alone 2.
Another thing I think is important to mention is it's crazy that the first fully 3D animated film is this good. Which kind of mirrors what happened with 2D animation. You know, your first full-length major 2D animated film was also a brilliant movie.
It's got really messed up.
Maybe
like seriously messed up.
Oh, that's horrifying.
Not just like they didn't do them right. They're like,
is it like? Oh, that's true. It's not just braces. It's like messed up teeth.
Yeah.
You know what he's been doing, right? It's the mid-90s. It's pop rocks. It's constant pop rocks.
Just rotting.
You know it. Right I know it. It's pop rocks.
So Lucas Green, thanks for all the super chats, man, tonight. That's awesome. He says, lucky Woody changed his mind. Otherwise, Buzz would have had a death wish, if you think about it. He was pretty down in the dumps.
Exorcism reference right there.
Yep, that's true. But they never go real blatant with references like that, right? Anytime you do a thing like that, you don't have to know the reference. You don't have to.
Sure.
You don't have to be aware of it.
We did it. We did it.
That's great.
That's my dance I'm going to do at the end of all these.
So I want to go back to that comment and think about it. So lucky Woody changed his mind. Otherwise, Buzz would have.
Yeah, he clearly didn't care that he was
wish.
strapped to the rocket.
Oh yeah, no, that's true. No, good call.
That's pretty dark.
Yeah, that's pretty dark for a kids movie. But it's also what sets this over the top, or you know, one of the big things that does that because it's really believable. And I don't think this movie like made kids cry really.
Well, that's
maybe some of the Sid stuff. I don't think it was like Anastasia. I don't think you had like a lot of kids complaining about.
I've never seen that. Is that horrifying? Like Snow White or something?
There's a couple sequences with the villain in that. Rasputin, voiced by Christopher Lloyd, is horrifying. He's got body parts coming off and stuff.
Man.
Really nice animation in that movie.
I had a VHS as a kid.
It's not a great.
I had a VHS as a kid that had the trailer for that on it that I saw a million times, but I never saw the movie.
Just never actually saw the film yet.
Moving coast to coast.
But that's like a pretty dark theme for a kid's movie. Like, he finds out he's not what he wants to be, and he doesn't think his life's worth living anymore if he has to be a toy.
No, I haven't watched this in a while, and I kind of forgot exactly how this third act wound up. You know, I said he has an opportunity for change. You know, I'm going to go back on something I said earlier. It is fully, wholeheartedly a dual protagonist film. It absolutely is. Looking back on it, it's easy to remember it as more of Woody's movie, especially because everything after that absolutely is Woody's story, right? But I thought Buzz has that shadowy disillusionment, and then like he's upset about it for a while, and he mopes around, but ultimately he kind of comes to terms with it. But no, he has to find his purpose. I forgot about the strap to the rocket. That's important, and I forgot all about it. Well, he's lucky that he had enough force.
I think he just hit the bump. I think the bump is what
This is
opened it.
Although he didn't open the truck stopped real quickly and it rattled the door after he
The way it
pulled the
looked
latch.
to me was that he hits it, and that's why.
Well, they're able to do things a lot. Like, he just shoved that whole box full of toys over.
And then he smacks it, and immediately it comes up. It was definitely the force of that toy that opened that.
It's kind of like Spider-Man's super strength. We're very loose with how strong the toys are. Like,
So what you guys to think about this from, by the way, RC car is one of the coolest toys that they made up for this. And it's neat because that's not a thing that existed, but, like, absolutely could have.
And they definitely made one for the movie.
Well, yeah, they made everything. But yeah, so everybody think about this for a second. If you are any of those toys in the truck from that box, up until Woody finally proves to you that he and Buzz are still on the same side and that he hasn't moved Buzz, you think you're in a slasher film. Somebody said they think that Potato Head is the guilty. I don't know if I can go with that.
yeah, that was Lucas Green with a super chat.
Although, certainly if he has faith in his friend and gives Woody the benefit of the doubt, there's not really a movie.
Yeah. I mean, I can see why he's saying that, because he's definitely the ringleader and, like, making everybody do his bidding on Woody.
He's just the new dictator, right?
Toys just need a leader.
You guys are all idiots, and you need me to do your thinking for you, right?
This is...
Oh yeah, I forgot about this movie. I do remember that. Now that you say it, that Hakuna Matata was playing in the radio in his car. Yeah. Overall, Woody has the proportional strength of a cowboy. I'm gonna look.
This is the best like remote control car ever. I'm just saying, this is the best remote control car ever. It goes like 50 miles an hour.
That's another thing I just don't buy. How does it catch up with the van? How does it not run out of battery? And yes, Brandon, they made those, but they never made one that could do any of this. In 2020, they're not going to.
No, in 2020, he would be flying a drone right now.
A nitro.
But I mean, they make drones that small, like 50
drones?
miles an hour.
Yeah, drones go really fast. I gave drones out as my wedding present to my groomsmen. Little small ones that were like. Oh no! I'm just saying, in 2020 it would be a drone.
Now. Passing.
I love the look on Slinky Dog's face when they're like rolling him up in a minute. He's so exhausted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, no Slinky ever got stretched that far and ever went back.
He's never the same.
Well, give me is you have to do something like this. They're made of plastic and they can't, and they don't need to breathe, but they get tired. Like, I'm not thinking about stuff like that, right?
Sure.
No.
This is a real creative spot where Woody learned something and he's able to use that knowledge to facilitate their.
Yeah. Well, he learned it the hard way. There's a hole in his head.
How lenses work.
Yeah. No, that's true.
Rockets explode!
David says, these are living sentient toys and you're questioning the realism of a toy remote control car. Yeah, because everything else, because that's the big conceit. The internal logic of the world is more or less all like, some basic movie logic stuff, but like, are you with me on that, DJ? Like, some of that's a little bit tough to swallow in this context. Like, I can't be over, the seat of the toys are all mine. Just say a car, that fast. Like, these are not.
No, I think it's fine to talk about. I don't think we're like saying. Like I said earlier, we wouldn't bring this stuff up if it was a review, but since it's a commentary, it's just fun stuff to talk about.
Just because it's fun to talk about, like it doesn't movie, but I think it's kind of basic movie logic stuff. I feel like a writing movie might like it's a problem here, just like it would be in anything. But I think just because you have a supernatural component doesn't mean you can do anything.
Yeah, it's got rules.
So let's take this even farther, David. If suddenly that truck had like sprouted wings and had its own rocket pack and flew up into the sky and could go into space, am I supposed to be okay with that because the toys can talk? Yes, that virtual car, that math doesn't go that far, but no other toy does anything that much far beyond what they normally would be able to do. And I think they're kind of just hoping you won't notice that it's going that fast, or that truck would have to be like so much slower.
Lucas Green gives us another super chat. Thanks so much, man. He says you've got a friend. He just says you've got a friend in all of us speak pollution.
Oh, thanks, Lucas. Makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside.
See, she's glossy.
When Woody pushes our...
Oh, man! God bless America. I needed to see it this big. Yep.
It's just not a thing you'd ever noticed, or else I didn't.
No. And I'm not the only person that thought that was a retcon thing. Okay, see, look, they're in his new room, and he's got cowboy stuff and space stuff, and they're both going to be in his bed.
Yeah, this is the next year for Christmas, you're right. So, yeah. I don't know what made him get back out his cowboy stuff. I guess just that adventure of losing them.
He's got a cowboy pillow and a space pillow.
Kurt the Gamer, I had the very same thought even back in the day when I first saw this. He says, I kind of would have been suspicious of Woody and Buzz being in that box that they clearly weren't in earlier.
Well, and that's just another like neglectful parent thing where she's like, see, I told you they were there the whole time.
Yeah.
We do that in like every movie in some way.
That's a big thing in movies, like parents not believing their kids and it's like an offhanded joke, which kind of bothers me.
Yeah.
Yeah, these days especially. But when Woody pushes RC Car off to go get Buzz, and they're so concerned about the fact that he just got rid of another toy, but yet when they are traveling back on the rocket, all they're concerned about is Woody and Buzz. They're like, here comes Woody and Buzz on the RC car. Like, no.
Yeah.
Just here's Woody and Buzz.
So Dragon 5 makes a good point. He says this is the only filmed Pixar movie to feature Christmas, and it doesn't even feature it. It's just in the last couple of seconds. Out of like the sheer number of kids movies they've made, nothing is at Christmas.
True? Wow.
That's wild. And I guess if that's true, that's wild. I can't think of one. And maybe they've avoided it with Toy Story because it's the obvious thing to do, right? That you do, like a Christmas movie and like opening that, because we do it with birthdays, but we're opening the toys at Christmas. They've made 4. I think maybe it's time to finally do it. I don't think anybody's going to cry cliche.
Well, they never get toys the conventional way in the movies. They always do. After this movie, they're always like the toys they steal from a toy collector, or they steal them from a daycare, or like they get them from a flea market. Like they never get.
They steal them from a daycare. They just go break into the next door neighbor's house and steal their toys.
But yeah, it's like they never have birthdays and Christmas after this movie. I guess they didn't want to do it again.
And then some toys end up in very unconventional places, like the bear. He gets strapped to the front of a dump truck in the city dump.
Yeah, Blue Dragon 5, I remember there was a Toy Story Christmas special, but I mean like feature films.
I haven't watched those.
I've never seen that. And he said that's on the 26th.
So I haven't watched any of those. I watched one. I've been watching Disney Plus with my kid a lot. And I watched one where Buzz gets lost in the ball pit, in the play place at like a McDonald's. Well, he doesn't get lost. Like, the toy for the McDonald's is a little Buzz Lightyear, like a little mini-me Buzz Lightyear. He breaks out. He obviously thinks he's real. And he breaks out, and well, actually, no! It breaks everything because he knows he's a toy because he purposely replaces the other Buzz. Like, the mom grabs that Buzz instead of the real Buzz. And then Buzz gets, like, put in, like, a lost toy place in the attic of the he's, like, in a Alcohol's Anonymous for, like, lost toys in the play place. It's pretty funny. Like, Jane Lynch is like the main.
Actually, I've never watched any of their short films. I always kind of assumed there was they
that one was good. That's the only one I can vouch for. But it was funny, and it was only like 7 minutes. But it had all the voice casts. Like, I don't know how they got Tom Hanks and.
I like the Forky shorts. I mean, they're a little hit and miss, but I like them a lot.
Did you ever watch the animated Buzz Lightyear Star Command?
And it's excellent, yeah. That's the one big thing that's not on Disney Plus that drives me crazy.
Really?
As far as, like, cartoons. They have the Mighty Ducks cartoon, but not that. It's ridiculous. Wow. That was a great show. It was super clever, super tongue in cheek. Somebody mentioned that it's odd that besides Zurg, and of course Zurg predates that show, like the design of it, we don't see ever any of those characters as toys in the Toy Story movies. They should have done that somewhere. Wouldn't have had to be a major character, but it's weird it's never referenced. I loved that show. I thought the idea of showing of making a show for kids that's essentially the show that Andy would have been watching as a 2D animated thing is a brilliant notion. And the movie is also really good too. It's got a pilot movie that has Tim Allen, and then the show has a sound alike, and they're both excellent.
Have you ridden the ride at Disney World? Too. Did they not?
I've never been to Disney World.
Oh, they don't have
only Disneyland.
Oh, okay.
If
it's
they
kind
do,
of just like one
it.
of those, like you're riding through a place and you're just shooting stuff.
Oh,
okay. It's kind of fun. It's fun to do with a kid.
No, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah. I didn't do
Lucas
that.
Green gives us two more super chats. The first one is, so did Buzz fly what's up there? I have no idea what that means.
I don't know what that means.
What?
Clarify if you can, Lucas. ERM. So did Buzz
fly
just what's up there? I think it's just a typo.
Like,
it's just a typo.
Yeah, let us know, Luke Green, what that meant. And then he gives us another $5 one just for fun and says, good job, with a little emoji, Fox. So he really enjoyed it.
Thanks, man.
We loved having you.
Well, we really appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for all your
Blue Dragon
support.
5 is guessing that it's M-E-M. So did Buzz fly him what's up there? It still doesn't make sense.
Oh, like... I still don't know what that sentence
means. What's up there? That's interesting. Anyway, those are short credits, man. Remember when credits were short?
Yeah, and for a movie that would have required a lot of animators. I mean, a lot more now, but...
yeah.
Oh, Lucas, you didn't have to leave another super chat for that. End of the movie, he flew, yes or no, and how? No, I mean, it's not... it's gliding. Like, it doesn't make sense, but, like, he gets picked up by a wind current.
Yeah, because at the end, he, like, swoops up.
It's definitely gliding.
He would not be aerodynamic enough to be able to actually do that, but if he could do it in that room, the way, like, the physics of that don't make a lot of sense either, so...
Well, honestly, in the room, it's different, because he's moving more in straight lines in the room, rather than picking up a wind current.
No, that's true, but I still think that, the kind of movie logic they're using, I guess it's consistent enough with the room is all I'm saying. Like,
I buy when he's falling with style at the first time in the room. I do buy that because he bounced off a ball. He's rolling. He takes that ramp. He's just going up straight from the ramp, and then he gets hooked to that thing which would have spun him around, and then
they go a little overboard. It's kind of one of the things where in the script it's probably exactly the same as that scene where he just goes up and then drops right in, but obviously it's a movie and they want to make it like super dynamic and.
Well,
yeah, they're just trying to make it an exciting climax, and it's the same thing. It's maybe even, I don't know, maybe it's on par, maybe it's even less or more viable. It's not though. As the RC car driving that fast, like I get what they're doing. It's a big climax. I'm just saying that like with the internal logic we've already set up, I don't buy the car driving that fast. And I somehow almost buy the floating thing better than that, but I probably shouldn't. I don't know.
They also made a Hot Wheels car for this movie. That's the one that he slides down the Hot Wheels track
cool.
on. I have that. I think I still have that little Hot Wheels car.
Well, guys, we are done a little early because this was a short film. So if there's anything else you guys want to chat about for the next 5 or 10 minutes, we can stick around for just a little bit since we had planned to go till 9 our time. So our time, it's later than that where DJ is. DJ's in the future.
The future.
But if there's anything else you guys want to talk about related to this or anything else, feel free to leave comments right now, and we'll tackle as much as we can in just a few minutes. Lucas Green says sequels with a question mark. Do you mean, are we going to do them? Someone earlier asked about that, but I'm not sure if that's what you're asking. I mean, we're not going to do them right now.
Get your next episode rigged up of Toy Story. We're going to go right into it.
Now we'll just do short films.
No, we might do the sequels. It's just up to whatever me and Cap feel like watching.
Yeah, we're going to really play this by ear. And with the mystery thing, I want to try to make each week as not relevant to the last movie as humanly possible. I want to make them like DJ as far apart as we could possibly make them. We did Lost, and then we did Toy Story. You know, the next thing needs to be as far away from Toy Story as we can get. Chewbacca's lover, I told you this last time, you're the absolute only person who wants more Lost. No one else wants that. No one else is going to ask for that. It would be me and DJ and you hanging out, and I'm sure that would be fun, but I think other people would also like to care to be here.
What year was Small Soldiers?
Small Soldiers is like 97, 98.
Is it?
I think.
I remember
no,
that
maybe
movie.
is it as late as 2000?
I don't think so. I
think it's earlier than that.
I think it's earlier than that. I think it's 90s. Yeah. But DJ mentioned it, and I remember that movie, and oh my goodness, that movie. Those the government microprocessors.
I've only seen it.
Never saw that.
I've only seen it in a laundromat.
It's so.
It was playing in a laundromat. And it freaked me out. It was scary. I was young. How old was I in 98? I was 4?
Seriously weird.
I always heard that from people, that it was strange, and
it's strange.
I never watched it.
But I should go back to it, honestly.
Is it worth watching?
Once, at least.
Is it just a really bizarre, strange movie, or does it like have a little heart and soul? Like,
I don't remember any heart and soul, but I remember it had a storyline that progressed, and like I don't want to. What I remember, I don't. So I'll watch it with you.
So we got a super chat from TH1.
Oh, thanks, buddy. What's up, Tom?
He says this or The Last Knit. Oh, I see what he's doing.
Oh yeah.
And then he says you should watch.
He's making a reference to something that happened last week in the Discord.
He said you should watch the Small Fry short with us. Great show tonight. That was the one I was talking about. It's called Small Fry. It's right there in the suggested. That'd be fun if you're down.
I mean, we could do that. It'll be a lot of us just kind of watching something because I haven't seen it. But I'm not against it.
Cool. It's only 9 minutes.
Yeah, we'll bring it up.
All
sure,
right.
Why not? We've got time to kill. This is what this show is going to be like, you guys. It'll be just like Star Trek Club without Star Trek.
Forky asks
and other things. We honestly should watch a Forky ask the question because it's amazing. Have you seen it yet?
Forky's not.
We're gonna do one of those because the one with the mug is amazing, and you guys have to see it. Anyway, okay. So what am I looking up?
It's called Small Fry because it's a fast food pun.
Okay, everybody, we're gonna watch the Toy Story short Small Fry now.
This is a micro machine at this point.
I love how big his helmet is. That's really funny.
All right, I got it.
Get it to timestamp 0 and get ready to press play when I say now if other people want to watch it with us. And this is going to be a lot more of us just kind of looking at a screen and maybe occasionally it'll be another react video.
This will only be for the Disney Plus people. I doubt anyone can get this rigged up like on a disc in time, but it'll be fun.
Dagan Spear says, "What about social distancing?" I'm not sure what he means by
that.
There's
a dude sitting next to you.
Brandon and I are not social distancing it. No, he lives here, is what I'm going to pretend like is happening.
I've been over here enough. We addressed this yesterday.
I make an exception for Brandon. He's been spending all of his time in his house. He's not really interacting with anybody else. I feel like if I was going to get the virus from Brandon, I would have done that by now. We are almost entirely social distancing. Brandon's like the only exception we're making. It's also none of your business.
Wow. Whoa, turning it up.
I don't even know if that's why he said that. I'm just kidding. Okay. Take it says that's what I meant. Okay. I'm just messing with you, buddy. Okay, is everybody ready to watch this 9-minute short film?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yes.
Tyler, we'll get to your super chat right after this. And then I'm gonna show you guys the what no episode of Forky, because it's the best thing ever. Okay, here we go. Everybody, please press play right now. DJ, we should just do a show where we just like talk long enough for someone to bring up something that sounds fun for us both to watch, that we both have time to watch.
I love the title card being used as like in the universe. I always like when they do that as like an object. I also like that they have mini versions of the logos for the mini movies. How popular is Buzz Lightyear that he's still in McDonald's toys, like 20 years later?
Well, I mean, we reboot and make decades later sequels to everything. Like maybe his franchise just kept going. Maybe it stayed that popular.
So maybe it's the X-Men universe.
If he's their Star Wars or Star Trek or a superhero thing, because he's kind of got the gamut covered, right? He's all of those things. He's a superhero, and he's kind of their Star Wars, and he's kind of their Star Trek. Like, he's got all of that.
Like, like this is the dumbest mom ever. How did she not tell the difference?
Can you remind me after this to tell a horrifying story?
Sure.
About a ball pit?
Oh.
Yes,
okay.
I will. That sounds great.
Yeah, Blue Dragon 5, that was a little bit sassy of me. I apologize.
Cap sass.
This is hilarious. Okay, yeah, they are all idiots. They insisted about how stupid these people are, and I retract what I said earlier about the disembodied arm. They're that dumb.
So, yeah, those of you who aren't watching, he just convinced Rex that the plastic in the ball pit made him shrink into this McDonald's toy.
No. I assume they've been...
There's a callback to 2, where he's in the vents.
He's also been in a circle of toys before, too, hasn't he?
Yeah. And this is one of those things...
Oh, I had that toy.
Yep. McDonald's had a whole line of, like, food that turns into Transformers. I have maybe half of that.
Yeah, they're very creative with the McDonald's toys in this.
DJ, that sounds like a Power Ranger monster to me, sir.
I don't have my subtitles on. I need to turn those on.
It's great. This seems like one of those inevitable things that Toy Story needed to deal with at some point.
The
Vegetarians. Good one. Xbox Lover says
Koala Copter. That's a great toy.
Just the same line. Recycled bin.
Recycled bin.
Every one of this is great.
I don't get it. Why don't kids like me?
Yeah, the Eagle one is amazing because McDonald's did several car lines like that.
Really?
They had different like real life objects and things like that for the wheels.
That's cool.
There was a whole Tiny Toons line that had that.
The Pizza Bot 5000.
They put so much thought into these toys,
great.
and they're all based on something.
Nobody wants to mess with Nobody wants to look at a circulatory system when they're eating a burger. Crazy that they got Jane Lynch for this little short.
You're an idiot, Rex!
He's 3 inches tall.
He's pretty light.
Wow.
It's incredible how consistent they are with just the tone and pacing and everything of those movies, and like I have to keep reminding myself we're not watching a movie.
Yeah, it's just and the animation is top notch as always. Doesn't
just as good as it always is, you know.
Which is crazy. I've got my son into the Cars universe, and there's a billion Mater shorts, and they all look just like those movies. I don't know how. I don't know how they afford to make those things.
Yeah, because with the Forky shorts, like
really good.
They do too, but they're like 2 minutes long. Like
Condor Man.
Condor.
That's actually Condor Man
saying.
because Disney still owns the rights to Condor Man. That's crazy.
No, you gotta watch.
What the heck is Condor Man doing there? And everybody that, like 98% of people that see this or more are gonna think that that's a made-up superhero. It's not. That's a Disney superhero film from 1981 that was made in Australia.
That's actually the thing that I thought of you most of when I watched this the first time. I was like, oh, Cap's gonna love Condor Man.
The only other recent Condor Man reference that I know about, and this isn't even that recent, is from Disney Infinity. That you can get in that game. One of the discs that you can buy is the Condor Man wings, and you can put them on your character. What the heck is he doing there? He's got that car.
Just Megan back there.
Look at the sad ghost sandwich. That's the one I want most. Is the sad ghost sandwich.
The first one is called Poultry Place or Palace.
Yeah, it's like a Burger King type deal. Like there's like castles and it's like that kind of aesthetic.
White blue does blue.
You should also be sad because none of your buttons do anything.
Well,
and you're not.
That's why he doesn't have the technology in him. That's why he doesn't think he's a real space ranger. He thinks he's a toy.
That's the message.
Punch that guy.
Siege Burger.
I needed more of that. I really did. That was fantastic.
Too short.
Parapet.
We should pause these and look at all these things.
The chicken cobbler gobbler.
That was all the names. That was all the names of the toys. Grant Alexander.
They spent so much time and effort on a thing that by itself makes you no money.
I know. I don't know.
The Fried Fortress. Oh my god.
Like, how does this make anyone any money? It's a thing you tack onto something, right? Like, eventually they put out a disc with several shorts on it, but it's not like you sell
Condor
this.
Man was played by Bob Bergen.
I don't know who that is right now.
Pants. Vlad the Engineer, Funky Monk.
Belt buckle, you crack me up sometimes.
Super Pirate.
Oh, okay, so it's actually only 7 minutes long, but it has 2 minutes of just other credits.
Yeah. I like.
Okay, so everybody go to Forky Ask a Question. We're going to watch, real quick, one Forky Ask a Question, because I really want you two to see this.
There we go. And don't worry, we will get to your super chat about Star Wars.
Oh, no, we can go ahead and do that now. I forgot about that.
That's what I'm here for. What did he say? Let me scroll back up. Tyler Overall. Is there anything you watch on old formats intentionally? I personally only watch Star Wars on VHS. I remember you mentioned Matrix ruining the color.
That is a great question. I love that. There are things that I will occasionally pull out the VHS tape for, not real often anymore, but I used to more, just because I like watching it the way I watched it when I was a kid, not just the quality of it. I'll even say that I have a little bit of nostalgia for that, for the slighter, graininess and lesser film quality for something like Batman '89 or something like Ninja Turtles. But the main reason that I used to go back to those was to, and I've talked about this before, watch the commercials that play before the movie. And with '89, you gotta have that bit with Daffy Duck and Bugs Bunny. You can't watch a Warner Brothers movie without a Warner Brothers ball cap. But these days, if I really feel like doing that, I can just pull those things up on YouTube. But that's the main reason that I would go back to those things if I did.
There's nothing that I watch on a specific format, but I love to collect different formats of things.
Right.
Recently, we've been talking a lot about laser discs and some things that I'd like to see on Laserdisc. I have a Laserdisc player.
And we've been kicking around building a Laserdisc collection together.
Exactly. We were looking at all the stuff at Star Trek that came on Laserdisc and how late some of that Laserdisc Star Trek came.
All the way to like 95, 96. I think they went through Insurrection, or was it First Contact?
I think it was First Contact.
They got up pretty far.
Yeah, and it's like on
DJ,
Laserdisc?
they were making laser discs up to at least 96. I didn't know that.
And
Like
for
that's
Star Trek, no
then
less.
for Star, yeah, that's crazy. And some of the releases were gorgeous. Like there's a couple of those boxes I really
the box
want,
art was so cool.
just because they look so good.
And they came out with some collections too that you could buy that was really cool. But the other thing I was going to mention is you mentioned Batman 89. I got you at one point the Betamax of Batman 89, and we were going to check and see whether the ads at the front, once we get a Betamax player,
but those are really super expensive. We're having a hard time getting our hands on one.
Yeah,
so yeah.
If anybody wants to donate a working Betamax player, like by all means.
Yeah, that's not going to happen, Brandon.
No, I know.
But, no, they're very high. I didn't realize just how hard it was to get a working Betamax
Me neither.
player. Someday,
one
we will
day,
do that. Yeah, but you mentioned Star Wars. Like, I only go back to the DVDs, the early ones that had the original theatrical versions, even though they don't look the best and they're not even, I don't think, in quite the right aspect ratio. I can't remember anymore. But just because I don't like to watch the remasters, and hopefully at some point Disney finally puts those on Disney Plus. But and DJ, do you have anything like that you intentionally watch in a normal format? I wouldn't figure you would, but.
Like, I replaced all my DVDs with Blu-rays and threw my DVDs out when Blu-ray came out. So like I'm a real quality stickler. But of course now it's all going digital, so all of my investment was useless.
There's stuff I listen to on specific formats. Like I've got tapes, records, CDs, just different stuff at that.
Is Jason
that point.
right? Are we doing the friend?
Yes. What is a friend? Is the episode for 40 Ask Questions. For whatever reason, they didn't make that like a series with episodes. They put them all up there individually, like they're each separate films. I don't know why they do that on Disney Plus.
Yeah, well, that's what they do with the Mater shorts. They're just like shorts. They're like separate.
Yeah, but the difference is those all came out separate. This came out like a series. It was week to week as it released. I don't know why it's not episode 1, episode 2. Like,
weird.
It's really weird. But anyway, so Forky asked a question, what is a friend? Get a timestamp 0. This is like 4 minutes.
I'm ready.
And go back on your own time, you guys, and watch some of the rest of these because they're really funny. But this is the one I really want to show you guys, partly because I'm constantly quoting it, and you'll know what I'm quoting. Okay, here we go. Everybody, please. So, what is a friend? Forky asked a question. Disney Plus. Everybody, please press play right now. It's probably the most times I've ever said that in one show.
I don't know. We did a lot of Morphin.
Maybe some of the Morphin Manias. I don't know. That's the one where he goes. So each of those openings, he says mostly the same things. What is this? What is this? But there's usually an added one, and that one was, "What's a book?" That's why his name is What No.
I'm gonna frown at you, Cap.
If I didn't see the direct address in the subtitles, I would not know what was happening.
No, you have to watch it with the subtitles right now. But yeah, no, this is all about the dialogue. What No is my favorite thing right now. I call Jason What No. He hates it. There's a running gag where he's always calling Ham something that's not his name.
Hmm.
This is the part where they always act like there's a lesson.
The Oh no! Wow.
It's
Man,
my
that
favorite.
character
I
would
love it
not
so
work
much.
at all if it wasn't for Tony Hale. Tony Hale is a national treasure.
Mm.
He's so great.
So I like how what knows name the inflection is part of the name.
Yep. Yeah, because that's what Bonnie's mom always says on the phone when she's carrying it around.
Mm-hmm.
What? No. Yeah, I love
No.
what? No. It's my favorite. No, you're absolutely right. That voice is everything. But yeah, Forky is my favorite
Do you
Toy
know
Story
Tony
character
Hale
now.
from
I
anything?
can't.
Oh,
No, I
he's
don't.
He's in Arrested
Or if I do, I don't
Arrested
realize I don't.
Development. He
Oh,
plays
okay.
Buster.
Bunch of stuff
And
I-
in Veep, he's amazing. He plays the guy in Veep.
DJ like watches modern comedies, and I don't do that.
He has a wide range. I think it's some of the things I've seen him in. No, Buster's great though. He's
Yeah.
that's a
Gary's a
funny
great
character.
character in Veep too. I only watch Veep because my wife loves it, but it's funny.
Well, guys, we are right at time now. Do we have any more questions?
Yeah, we
or
had
super
one
chats or anything?
super chat about. No, I
wanna
think
make
that was
sure I
it.
don't
Yeah,
miss
that was it.
something.
Tyler overall one.
We covered, yeah. That was a great question.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. Okay. We're going to be back on Thursday with a regular Captain Logan show. We're going to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about for an hour or more. So pop on back for that. And Brandon, thanks for coming over.
Yeah.
And watching Toy Story with us. And I hope everybody
see it
had
again.
a great time. And next week on Tuesday, we'll watch something else that won't be Toy Story and will probably be nothing at all whatsoever like Toy Story. And just hang out with you guys and talk about different things, including the movie that we're watching. This worked out really well, I think. It was a lot of fun. And I hope you guys had fun as well. We will see you again a couple days from now. And in the meantime, I was Captain Logan. This is Brandon
As
of the
always.
Grims. Yeah, and
We
DJ
did it. We
Marnez.
did it. We did it.
You did
Okay.
say you were going to start doing that.
Oh, yeah, I forgot he said, oh, no.
He's holding true to his word.
What? No. DJ, don't forget that you're the one that has to press the off button.
I won't let it keep recording as you and Brandon like order food or whatever people are going. Bye, guys.
Later, folks. Bye.